This is exactly what we wanted to hear as a college basketball insider speaks out on a top basketball award and why Duke is in the perfect position to go and win it. And we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Duke Basketball 365. Guys, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to each and every single person who decided to hit that subscribe button. But let's jump right into the news for today. Coming from college basketball insider Andy Katz, who said, the Naismith National Coach of the Year favorite. Well, for me, it's Duke's Jon Scheyer. Scheyer lost all 5 starters, including multiple first-round picks off of a team that went to the Final Four. Now, he's got Duke back to being the number 1 team in the country. They just knocked off number 1 Michigan. He has the National Player of the Year in Cameron Boozer, and this team may not have another first-round pick. Yes, they have some guys returning, but it is what they do defensively, shutting teams down, holding them to under 60 points. If they don't have 2 collapses, they are undefeated. This is a coach only in his 4th season who has already been to multiple Elite Eights and a Final Four. Jon Scheyer gets guys to buy in defensively. Well, Jon Scheyer absolutely does get his players to buy in defensively. As we can see on the screen, Duke has overtaken Michigan. 2 days ago, we overtook them as the number 1 defensive rating in the country, and now we've officially overtaken them in the overall KenPom rankings. Overtook them by 0.1 or 0.01 actually. The number is the same. It's really just for fun, whether it's Duke or Michigan. The teams are going to be largely 50-50 should we see them again. But Duke's defensive rating is one of the number 1 things that Coach Jon Scheyer has brought to the table this year. He has gotten buy-in defensively from a bunch of top recruits and has put together one of the best defenses in the entire country. This is something that has been extremely impressive to witness and is the absolute foundation of what this Duke basketball team is. As we read that Tony Katz said, holding teams under 60 points, that's an impressive feat. Just be physical with guys, and everyone loves scoring, but not every basketball player loves playing defense at the same time, which is why it is a game changer that Jon Scheyer is able to get this kind of buy-in from his players defensively, and it leads to one of the reasons why he is one of the favorites to win the Coach of the Year. But we can look at some other coaching decisions from Jon Scheyer that show why this year has been such an impressive feat of coaching. We can see the second line here, D1 experience. On average, the Duke players have 0.89 years of college basketball experience, aka they're more often likely to be a freshman than not. This is the 308th most experience in the country out of the 365 basketball teams over the landscape of college basketball. Extremely inexperienced, which a lot of people, I see people calling it out in the comments. The inexperience usually doesn't seem to matter during the regular season, at least towards the end of the regular season. The beginning of the regular season, Duke, we usually run into some problems because players haven't played with each other before. And then it seems to rear its ugly head again towards the end of March Madness, where we run into another team that is extremely talented, except the difference is they have much more experience, maybe even March Madness experience, and they have players that have spent a long time playing together with each other. So this is another hurdle that Jon Scheyer has to get over, but we can see he's put together the number 1 team in the country despite having almost no experience on the team. And while, yes, Duke is positioned better than most every other team to be good despite this distinction, if not the best position to do this with the way we recruit every single season. Some of the top recruits, if not the top recruit in the country every single year, because losing top guys like Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, it's a lot easier to stomach those losses when you know you have Cameron and Caden Boozer coming in the next year. You know you have Dame Sarr coming in the next year. But it is still impressive to watch how Jon Scheyer is able to kite together the successes of the previous teams and just continue the absolute dominance that has been his regime, and an extremely hot start even for Duke standards over the first 4 seasons of his career as the finally head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. But another statistic I want to pull out from this personnel graphics chart that we got from KenPom: average height. Duke's average height, 79.4 inches. You can translate that into feet by dividing it by 12 if you would like. I won't be doing that. The important thing is Duke is the second tallest team in college basketball. Last year, we were the tallest. This is a very important stat. Again, we know Jon Scheyer likes to put together tall rosters, and that roster building strategy has been very beneficial for Jon Scheyer and has been one of the reasons why we've been so effective in the last 2 seasons under Coach Jon Scheyer. Another reason why, he is one of the favorites for the Naismith College Basketball Head Coach of the Season is how well he has coached Cameron Boozer. Now, you may argue it's easy to coach a guy who is this good, and while there's some truth in that statement, of course, it's easier to coach the guys that are extremely high recruits. To get this level of production from a player, unless they are, an absolute world-beating talent. Like if this was like RJ Barrett, who came in as, I believe he was the highest recruit in the history of 24/7 sports at the time, he was given a 1, which is the highest rating that they give. If it was RJ Barrett, you want to say, oh, he already had the talent, then maybe. But Jon Scheyer, you still got to coach the top recruits to put all the talent together. They don't just come in knowing how to already be an amazing basketball player. And even just in a team sport, just one player doesn't make the entire team what it is. So Jon Scheyer gets the defensive buy-in, gets young players playing at an extremely high level, especially on the defensive end. And he is going to lead Cameron Boozer to becoming the likely college basketball's player of the year, because his stats have been that good and his play has been that good over the entire regular season. But we have 3 more regular season games here. Home for Virginia, at NC State, and then home for North Carolina. We are projected to have a better than 75% chance to win each and every single one of these games. Virginia is currently ranked 11th in the AP poll, but 14th in the KenPom ranking. So we think that ranking is a little bit high from the AP poll, expecting to get a victory versus the Cavaliers. It's big that that game is a home game. Also big that we are getting to finish off the season at home at Cameron Indoor versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. That will be a revenge game for one of our 2 losses on our record from earlier on in the season. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and go Duke.